Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DigiVerse DiveCast, the only Digimon podcast sponsored by Manscaped. Shave your balls for free.
Oh, okay.
What? What?
Didn't know we had one of those.
Yes, we do. So, obviously, this episode is going up on a Monday. I've decided to do something where I'm going to start releasing episodes early for patrons. So, if you pledge $5 or above on the Patreon, you get to see access early. I figured this would be like a sneak peek. There's going to be bonus content. Like, this is obviously movie stuff. So, I figure we'll make movies non-official episodes moving forward, and we'll lock that behind the Patreon because, they're technically non-canon, so they don't have to be available to everybody and stuff like that. So, this is just the first of that. Obviously, it's going to be released free as like a getting people in on the ground floor type of thing. But yeah,
Alright. Well,
yeah,
whatever works.
yeah. Retroactively, I will be removing the R War Game episode and putting that behind the paywall as well.
That seems a bit draconian, but alright.
Them's the breaks. You gotta know how to run a podcast in this fucked up world.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay then. I don't really have the power to stop you on making decisions, regardless
that's
of how bad I
true.
think they are.
I am the end all be all of decisions about this podcast. I'm your boss, technically. Isn't that fucked up?
Where's my fucking pay then?
Unpaid internships? Can we think about it like that?
I'm gonna go see Millennium Microphone is hiring. Hang on.
No, 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 no. We don't need any more crossover between these two shows. I don't want them finding out that I just ripped off their fucking format wholesale.
I literally went on one of their podcasts to be like, check out this thing. It is literally the same thing, format and all. They know.
Fuck. Well, whatever. One of these days, we're gonna get them on this podcast. I think Carl literally already offered, but we are getting away from the actual topic at hand. We are going to be discussing the Digimon movie Summer Wars.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't know if yours did this. My like legally acquired copy um didn't come with like a Digimon prefix. It just said Summer Wars, which is weird because it's definitely a Digimon movie. So
No,
like, not sure what that was about.
yeah, I had the same issue. For whatever reason, I think like they started classifying it as like a standalone film because it's not directly related to any of the series, but it did come out at this point in the timeline. So I figured we just slot it in here.
Yeah, yeah, weird. It's like an Avmon situation, but it's even like less It's weird. Whatever.
Mhm. Admittedly, like they do have some like the designs in this movie are fucking incredible. Like King Cosmomon and Love Machine Mon are like
Yeah,
top tier.
Love Machine Dramon is really fucking good.
All right, fuck it, drop the bit.
Did Love Machine Dramon actually like just make that for you?
That was so
What?
no, nothing. It was
What?
fantastic. Love Machine the new level 7 for the Machine Dramon line. Love Machine Dramon. Radical departure in the actual design philosophy of it, but you know what? It happens. Digimon.
Yeah, I was about to say this literally is Digimon's MO. This would just happen. This would just fucking happen.
Turns from a giant mechanical dragon killing machine into a guy who's based off is he supposed to be the Buddha?
I think so.
I
It's
think
it's
he
definitely
is.
like a very monk type design they
Yeah.
went for with
And
him.
they have the giant the God, I don't know the exact origin of this and I don't want to sound bad. So it's either like Hinduism or Buddhism where it's like the halo is behind like the back.
Yeah,
I think that might be the origin of that specific like kind of halo design, but I don't know that for sure.
which
So
is
do not quote me on that.
definitely which is definitely an interesting because like a lot of the practices of those are meant to be more about like tranquility and peacefulness. Yet this thing causes nothing but fucking chaos the entire movie.
Yeah. So all right, let's get so obviously we're just talking about Summer Wars now. By the way, we watched Summer Wars. That's the whole thing. Because it's a host at a movie, and it's not very similar. I shouldn't say that. It shares some similarities with our war game. Like, the baseline philosophy of the movie and, like, the core ideas of it are similar, not even exactly the same, similar to our war game.
There's
Um
definitely seen stuff. I will say there's definitely like having seen them, maybe the closest back to back I think I've ever done so.
mhm,
There are just scenes from our war game that are basically transported into this movie.
yeah.
Like
So
it's definitely like the core. Like there's definitely a lot of philosophies and themes that are like both shared and different. But there are just a couple of scenes where I'm like, that's that's effectively just a mirror of the our war game scene.
mhm. So, like, a lot of people will talk about Summer Wars as, "Oh, yeah, Hosted made our war game again," which, sure, okay, like, fair enough, but also
It is definitely a very reductive to put it like I
yes.
do get it. You know, again, there is a lot. Like there is a lot that's similar between the two. But it's it feels a bit reductive. End of the day to do so. I don't know.
No, absolutely. I am of the same opinion. Basically, what Summer Wars kind of, like, winds up being is, okay, 10 years after the fact, Hosoda was like, "Alright, I'm gonna take another crack at that idea, except this time I'm not gonna be restrained to 45 minutes in the Digimon property."
Yeah.
And what essentially resulted is one of the best goddamn animated movies ever made. Holy
This
fuck, this
is
movie is good.
just my favorite movie. Just
Mhm.
like in general, like I've seen this movie fucking what how many watches of this had I'm in double digits by now. There's no fucking way I'm not in double
Jeez.
digits with this fucking movie by now.
I didn't think you'd watched it that much, oh my god.
I like this movie like a lot. Like it's really fun. I actually would maybe even say that in terms of like the pure like script and how each scene like contributes to the overall narrative and point, I might actually even say that like our war game is a much tighter, tightly constructed movie than Summer Wars is.
Mhm.
But like I think the things this movie like shoots and hits for are just even like but like just conceptually and emotionally beyond what a war game even try to do.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, like, I would definitely agree. Like, our war game is definitely a much more, like, compact and tightly paced package, but this movie just does so much more with the ideas. Like,
Yeah,
it being triple the length certainly, well, not quite triple the length, but almost triple the length certainly helps. Uh, it's allowed to explore and do more stuff with them, and also just, introduce a much bigger cast, have them do a lot more, stuff like that. Which I guess, like, the core philosophy of both movies is basically like, because obviously our war game is about Y2K. That's like pretty
yeah.
blatant outright. And then Summer Wars is definitely about I guess, the over reliance or over dependence on, like, technology.
I the, you, I think it is an interesting point to be made that this movie was made in like 2000, like it released in 2009. So
Yes.
you can roughly estimate that the movie entered production and was being made at around like 2007, 2008 ish,
Mhm.
which was right at the advent of like Twitter and Facebook and
Yes.
like YouTube had been there around for a couple. So like more like consolidated platforms on the internet were already were basically at their genesis at this point, or like were like just starting to really take off.
Mhm.
So rather than I think like wait, let me check. Oregon was 1999 still, so it was still kind of looking ahead, but like
Yes.
this one I think looks even
Yes.
further ahead at like what these like again more consolidated platforms of like communication and how we handle things on the day to day and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, it's definitely looking further ahead at like what the possible perhaps even inevitable consequences of such progression might be.
Yes. This movie takes place, like, obviously it was made in 2008, 2009. It, came out in 2009. It takes place in 2019. So it takes place 10 years ahead of its actual release date. And there's some very interesting, I guess, predictions Hosoda made about how technology would evolve in the past 10 years that wow, he sure got some of it completely fucking correct, which is really weird.
I think maybe just modern context made me think like it's obviously not he went very futuristic with this, which is just kind of like the way you have
Yeah.
to like sometimes exaggerate things to make your point in these kinds of
Mhm.
movies. And like obviously he didn't really go. He didn't. He maybe thought a little too much of how far ahead we'd get in 2019, but he
Mhm.
certainly got basically right what tech CEOs want things to be.
Yes. 100%.
Every dipshit tech billionaire who wanted to make the metaverse just wanted to make Oz.
Yeah. No, like, exactly. Literally exactly that. This is almost verbatim, scientists have created torture nexus from a popular book, "Do not create the torture nexus." It's like, it man.
And it is really funny because I do think what I like about Hosoda's like take on this because a lot of like very dystopian fiction that deals with topics like this tends to just look at all the ways that these things suck ass and even Hosoda like it's cautionary but I like that he gets to this point by also being like um there's a lot of good and a lot of convenience and stuff that comes out of a platform like Oz the same way that he doesn't entirely deride the era of communication that the internet brought about in like our war game because it's like
Yes.
um one of there's a good couple of examples. One of my favorite ones is Kazuma, the guy with that funny little rabbit avatar.
Yeah.
Uh like he got bullied a lot in school, but then his like uncle, I think it is, taught him martial arts through Oz. And like
Yes.
because of that, not only did Kazuma stop getting bullied, but he has a very strong bond and high respect for that particular uncle, even if he's not the most sociable like person with the rest of his family.
Yep. He still
And that
calls
all
him master
happened,
to this day.
that all happens like because of Oz.
Mhm.
So it is like I'd say hosted us movies like in terms of like both our war game and Summer Wars definitely lean on the more cautionary side of this kind of technology, but he's he at least like acknowledges like in what ways these things would be beneficial to people,
Yeah.
which I think makes these stories kind of strike a better balance that they really need to hit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, just, so much of this movie is just about, like, obviously, it is incredible to be able to do these kinds of things with the technology they have in the day. However, relying so heavily on this technology to the point where when it gets interrupted, the fucking world breaks down. Is like, you know,
And
maybe don't do this.
unfortunately, as frightening as it is kind of where we ended up, isn't it?
Yeah, no, like a big part of this movie is, oh, your account for this massive online hub was stolen. You can't get into literally anything anymore that requires any kind of internet connection, which, you know, given how
Everything in
much.
this world requires an internet connection now.
Yep. And even just having one account that kind of masters a ton of accounts on other things. Cause like most stuff nowadays, like I'm guilty of it too. Given the option, I'm just gonna log in with my email. I don't want to make another account on a website. I'll just use the fucking Gmail to sign in, which is really bad. Because if that Gmail gets compromised in any way, shape, or form, I'm gonna lose a ton of shit. And there's a ton of personal information that's getting stolen. Like, unfortunately, that's just for the sake of convenience, we are setting ourselves up to be completely decimated should something go wrong, which is really unfortunate.
And
you know?
that's that's actually like really interesting too, because that is like that kind of like that kind of mix of like cautionary, but like like not totally like doomerism, but definitely cautionary like analysis of
Yeah.
like emerging technologies and stuff. That is actually I would describe that as actually like very Digimon in a number of ways.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's the cautious optimism.
Yeah.
Like, "This stuff is really cool, but watch out."
Watch the fuck out.
You never know when a fucking AI developed by your dipshit uncle wanting to prove himself to the family and then selling it to the fucking US government.
Listen. I just wanted. Listen, I just wanted to make some money. I never thought that making a prototype AI and selling it to the United States. I didn't think that would make. I didn't think that would cause anything bad to happen.
All I did was make an AI that has a desire to learn and then give it to the US government, the most trustworthy.
He's such a fucking dipshit. He
He's
sucks
so
so bad.
stupid. He's so goddamn stupid. He's so stupid their grandmother tries to immediately kill him with a naginata the second she finds out he did this. Fucking god, what an idiot.
What a yeah. I
Wabiske? That was his name, right?
Wabiske. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was his name.
God. Yeah, we haven't really like we're not doing the play by play for this movie because like, like a 2 hour movie. I don't want to do a play by play for, and like the movie's just good. People should see it. We just want to talk about its ideas and its themes for people who have already seen it, or to get people interested.
Yeah, maybe like certain character moments and scenes, but generally speaking, kind of sticking to that
Yeah.
sort of deal.
I do really enjoy the like ever present Hanafuda stuff because it becomes
Yeah,
incredibly relevant at the end. Fucking
I,
yeah.
yeah, 'cause, the Hanafuda. I don't know how to fucking play Hanafuda. They just kind of say a bunch of shit, and I'm like, yeah, sure, dude, fucking koi koi, I get it, hell yeah.
I sort of understand. I don't know like I know the rules of the game. I don't know the card combinations. Because like I know you have your hand, there's the cards on the board, and by placing your card on top of another one, you can make card combinations that give you a certain number of points, depending on like how many of them you have of like a certain set. I don't I cannot for the life of me ever remember what each like set and card like how they go with each other. But yeah.
Hmm.
And like the
Yeah,
last person who actually like does the koi koi wins the round and gets the point.
but I do always like forget that the Hanafuda stuff is actually like a lot more prevalent and like because I guess first time experience kind of sticks with you the most. I feel, and
Mm.
I always remember the first time watching it. And what the fuck's that Hana? What are they doing? What's this? What the fuck is this? Where's Omnimon? What the fuck was this fucking card game they're playing?
When are King Cosma and the shitty little squirrel thing gonna fuse?
God, that's so funny. King Cosmo wanted to be the Omnimon in this movie so fucking bad, and he couldn't hack it.
I mean, he gets his cool upgrade where he grows blonde hair and gets covered in bandages. That's neat. Apparently, like from what I could find, that form is called King Cosma Ultra.
Fuck off. I do like how he just has like Kazuma's like actual hair in that form though. It's
Yeah,
fun.
cool.
The actual just like design aesthetic of this movie is fucking incredible, by the
Yep.
way.
Hosoda remains the single best person to design your digital world. His
It,
sense of aesthetic for this kind of thing is amazing. It's just perfect.
it his aesthetic for us is so good. I'm pretty sure Cyber Sleuth just ripped that shit off
Oh,
wholesale, but you know.
100%. Also, like, I wanna say that, like, I don't know if other things do this, but I'm pretty sure the first time I ever remember seeing it was our war game of, like, people in, like, a digital space being represented by having their line art be red. That fucking rules, by the way. Everyone should steal that. Everyone should steal
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's
Um,
really cool looking.
Let me think. Yeah, but yeah, like I really like Love Machine's like design. Like
Yes.
Like King Cosmo's a big one for many people. My favorite's it's either Love Machine or what's the girl's name again? Was it
Natsuki?
Natsuki? It was Natsuki, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Natsuki's avatar is like that's such a fucking brilliant design.
It's really cute.
Uh Love Me I really like how Love Machine still has like a lot of those fucking just Diaboromon vibes while going
Yes.
for like a completely different aesthetic.
Mhm. Hungry for knowledge.
It even kind of does the whole evolving thing.
Oh, yes, it does do that. I forgot all about that. 'Cause yeah,
Well, and then what
originally, it's Kenji's original stupid little shitty boy with mouse ears avatar.
well, one thing that I love about it too is that throughout every form, including like the big massive 400 accounts one,
Mhm.
there's one thing that remains consistent about it: the design, the fucking grin,
Yes. That
that stupid shitty grin.
big old toothy smile. Love it every time.
Yeah, no, just fuck. It's still like absolutely just gorgeous on every front. Shout
Yes.
out to like the regular character designs, which are if I'm getting this name right, Yoshiyuki Sadamoto, who is known for a couple little things. You ever heard of Genesis Evangelion?
You know what? That makes sense. Just looking
If
at
you
those
look at
character
like
designs, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's very Evangelion."
if you look at like the actual art he did, like because obviously like they kind of went through like a bit of a Hosoda filter. I
Yeah.
would so it's not like immediately obvious, but you look at like the actual like key art or something for Summer Wars, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, these are that guy. These are that guy's fucking designs.
Mhm. Really,
But
really good stuff.
I really like the Oz stuff obviously stands out more immediately, but I really like all the regular character designs because they really hit that nice like middle point of like these are like people designs, like
Yes.
these don't l- like I mean it's like obviously from the aesthetic these still look like anime characters, but their base aesthetics don't look like anime character designs.
No.
These look like people,
Yeah.
but they are
These are your extended family.
yes, but they still like each member still manages to be very distinct and memorable in their aesthetic that like they it they really it really is just like yep, that's the extended family, that's a guy I recognize, that's a fucking woman I recognize, yep.
Yeah. It's
Like
really,
all their
really good.
designs including like the children and stuff and the older like it fucking all of them work in LA. It's
Mhm.
really crazy.
I do wanna draw special attention since we're talking about the extended family now, that Hosoda did in fact say ACAB throughout the entire movie because,
Yeah, the
oh,
cop is such a dipshit. He's
holy
such a
shit.
fucking dumbass, and he never gets better.
No, he literally just causes problems and does not have any redeeming qualities whatsoever. He just sucks from start to finish. Fuck Shota. Fuck that dude.
I also like that Shota bringing like taking out the ice and bringing it to the grandma is effectively the Taichi blue screens the computer moment of
Yes,
this movie.
very much so. Fucking dipshit.
I was so every time I cheer when fucking Kazuma just decks that fucking guy and breaks his nose.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so wonderful. Just like yeah, every member of the like obviously there are members of the family that get a lot more attention. Like obviously Wabisuke gets a lot more attention because he fucking made Love Machine in the first place. Which he called this fucking thing Love Machine. What?
Why'd you call this love machine? I love that one character even goes, "You mean like the song?"
Yeah,
Or
that had to have been what he named it after. I refuse to believe
yeah,
otherwise.
but it was so cool naming it. Fuck you, Agisuke, dumbass.
Yeah, like obviously he gets the most play out of the extended family. The uncle who taught Kazuma martial arts, his name I'm forgetting. He's like the only one that's like more prominent that I can't. Of.
Yeah, he gets a decent bit.
Yeah, because
Um,
he's the one who brings the fishing boat that has like the massive generator to run the fucking
the fucking
supercomputer.
super
I love that it's just like, yeah, why do you have this supercomputer? And he's like, well, we're out in the sticks, so the only people who actually shop at like electronics places are schools and the government.
so,
I'm borrowing this.
and then the other guy is like, "Oh yeah, no, this is some military equipment." And then Kenji asks him, "What? Oh,
Yeah,
what
like,
part of the military do you even work at?"
and he's like, haha, don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to hear the answers to. I'm
So
pretty.
fucking good.
I choose to take that as if he told Kenji, he would probably legally have to kill
Yeah,
Kenji in response. So
he is 100% special forces, like no doubt in my mind. But yeah, so like obviously, like I mentioned, we're not talking about like even the beginning of the movie where it's Kenji basically just is wrapped up in having to pretend to be Natsuki's fiance.
yeah, I like how that gets decided by like a rock fucking like literally. There's like
Yeah,
a line like at the start where they're like, "Man, you only got this because you won a rock paper scissors game. Fuck you, Kenji."
I mean, hey, it's a good thing Kenji was the one that got chosen. If it wasn't him,
Oh,
they'd all be fucking dead.
literally, if Kenji lost the rock paper scissors game, a nuclear disaster would have happened. I
Actual
do
end
like
of the
that that
world
friend
scenario.
I did like that friend doesn't just like disappear at the start, like
Yes,
from the start of the movie. He actually does get like a pretty reoccurring amount of screen time.
especially toward the end because he comes in for the assist. Funniest part he does by far is telling Kenji, "Oh yeah, by the way, 54 people solved the cipher. You weren't one of them. You got the last character wrong, dumbass."
Dipshit doesn't know English. He didn't catch that was meant to be a fucking cue.
Fucking idiot. I think the
I
funniest part is
do,
the previous character was also a Q and he still got it wrong.
yeah. He then has looked at those two cues ending a fucking word, and I mean it makes sense. He's a Japanese like student, and that was like an English phrase, right? So it actually does kind of make sense that he didn't catch it, but also fucking dumbass. Come on.
Can't believe you fucked it up. It's fine. He redeems himself by repeatedly solving a cipher of the same difficulty multiple times within the span of like 10 minutes. Uh
Dude, okay, I know this is skipping to the end, but that bit where he like goes goes shonen mode on solving math equations and
yeah,
does it in his fucking head, as you can see his fucking eyes bulging and his nose bleeding.
it rules. It's so cool.
I actually, I always kind of considered Kenji like one of the weaker aspects of this movie because I was like, before I was kind of on it. I don't know. Something about him this time kind of clicked with me. I
Yeah.
felt like I actually quite like him as a protagonist for this movie.
Yeah, he takes a very passive role for like the first half even more of the movie. Basically, until everyone finds out until the news starts reporting anyway that he's the one who
Yeah.
cracked the cipher, he doesn't really do much. It's really just like him seeing the rest of the family and how they are and like trying to fit into this scenario that he is in no way equipped to handle.
He even doesn't like a scene that really got to me and a scene that actually made me like him a lot more is that scene where he like, he thanks the grandma for letting
Yes.
him in because he like, his dad's always like abroad for his work, I think he said, and then his mom's very busy, so
Yes.
he usually hit him on his own, and that kind of makes a lot of that earlier bit where he's really trying to adjust to what the fuck's going on. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, it makes it all work.
Yeah. And then I especially love the contrast between the two like full blown dinner scenes that Kenji is involved with, where during the first one, like everyone's going around introducing themselves, they start passing around food to each other, and he is very much in like that, like, oh my god, what do I even do style of thing. And then the second time around, like he's actively participating, he's grabbing food for himself, they're handing him food. It's fantastic. It's so
He was
good.
there's a little detail that they literally like obscure, like they make you like look out for this because they kind of hide him behind uh a screen or something.
Mhm.
Where when forget his name, but like the baseball like player,
Oh, Yohei.
the yeah, where they're like looking at like Ryohei's game, and they like announced that he won semis, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
first game they see him play is the semis.
he's actively like cheering with them
Yeah,
when they find out he won.
it's great. Just he just kind of meshes with them almost immediately. It takes him a
Yeah.
second to get used to that, and of course the whole being outed as a potential digital terrorist.
Yeah. Like our grandma doesn't even really care that much about that.
Yeah, no. Like she's not even the one who like she really just is very just like sitting there while everyone else is like yelling at him to get out, and eventually like he gets arrested because all things considered, like as far as they're all concerned, he did in fact commit a pretty egregious crime.
Uh, yeah, international incident tier cybercrime is pretty fucking serious. Like,
I love that even though he wasn't one of the ones that solved the cipher, he's still the one that gets blamed because Love Machine stole his avatar specifically.
you know how we talked about like how Diaboromon just really had it fucking out for like Taichi and Koshiro specifically for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
Love Machine, fucking, what did Kenji ever do to this fucking thing?
You know what? I bet it was because he got the last character wrong. Love Machine's like, this fucking little idiot. Get
He
ready, you
got
little
so
bitch.
close. He got so close and then fucked up the queue at the end. Come on. I'm gonna fucking, if everything else fails, I'm gonna make sure he suffers regardless. Fuck him.
It's so good. It's so wonderful. God.
Uh, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of just like things from this movie I want to talk about because there's just like a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Oh god. Well, don't get too excited. We gotta save some of the discussion for the second half of the video.
Yeah. Um. Fuck it. I just also really like how the family stuff and the internet, because it's like it's not necessarily that like the family stuff and the fuck it, I'll just metaverse stuff basically. Like I feel like that on base sounds like you're just kind of watching two separate movies that like happen to kind of coexist, but like
Mhm.
I really like how those two end up intersecting with each other, and how like the value of just communication and like just
Yes.
being there for one another, even when the major overarching system that is like governing most of the communication like effectively goes down. It's
Mhm.
like people just fucking talking to each other and being there for each other. Like that's what matters, and that's what can overcome even something as existentially terrifying as that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
just how that gets like constantly reinforced throughout the movie for like the fucking scene where the grandma calls up like everyone.
Yes. That I was about to talk about this scene specifically because that might be my favorite scene in the movie is the grandmother calling all of her connections and being like, "Get your ass in gear." Like,
Yeah,
it's like, "We can still communicate like this. Fucking start doing it." And like she has all her books of the numbers she wrote down. Because like obviously if you can't access your accounts, who know like obviously this is like in a super extreme version where like I guess even like their address books are just fucked because they're contained
yeah.
within Oz or something. Or like, maybe just cell service in general doesn't
I
work,
mean,
but the landlines
I
still
mean,
do.
I mean, like you know how it goes. Like, do you have all the numbers written down? No, you have a little list on
Yeah.
your phone
Hell no. I don't
with
remember anyone's number. I remember my own number. That's it.
yeah. So, like, no, even that bit I would consider like fairly, like,
Mhm.
extreme, but not impossible, really.
Yeah. Like, if we somehow lost access to her, like, our contacts, fuck it. I'd be doomed. I could literally contact nobody.
Yeah,
Yeah, just, that very much, like, really, like, continuously reinforcing this idea that, yeah, the ability to communicate the way we do over the internet is super awesome and cool, but for the
have a
love of
backup
God,
maybe.
yeah, like, still talk to each other normally. It's important. Send letters. They're nice.
They are.
Yeah.
Um, I another scene that really like kind of reinforced that is like the scene before the Hanafuda game where like the way they work this out is like um Natsuki eventually breaks Wabisuke's like fucking phone password, calls him up, and then
Yes.
they just kind of sit around the table and like talk about how they're gonna get this done.
Mhm.
Um, fuck, it's so like damn,
This movie is just really good. It's just so
it's just
good.
all works together so fucking well.
So wonderful.
I
Like
love, by the way, that like
mhm.
Wabisuke's he's trying to be like the villain of this movie effectively. He's trying to He has that you have that scene where like the family's like eating under a nicely lit table, and then he's off to the other side of the room
Yeah.
and like dimly lit drinking his fucking beer. He's like, "Oh, I'm not like the rest of this family. I'm so fucking different and cool."
I'm
I
the
bet his
black
fucking
sheep.
phone password is his great grandmother's fucking birthday number.
He's such a little bitch. He wanted to impress her so bad,
He wanted to impress her so fucking bad.
and he fucked it all up. God. I like I think so, like, if I had to pick a point of this movie that's, like, not even weak, but, like, the weakest point of this movie, it's probably, like, the romance angle between
I was
Kenji and
literally about to
Natsuki.
ask you about
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
because like, it's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, this movie's about something way more important and different, so, like, it it doesn't necessarily come off this way, but on some level, it's just kinda like an obligation.
Yeah, obligatory was I
Yeah.
was gonna go with. Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's
I
the male lead with the female lead, and they get into the situation stuff, and then they wind up liking each other because of the suspension bridge effect, etcetera, etcetera.
I definitely also think I wish Natsuki herself got maybe, like, not even a whole lot more play, just, like, a little bit more.
Yeah, at least before her big, the Hanafuda game.
Yeah, her big, like, Hanafuda game at the end and, like, her calling up with Bisuke and stuff, I think does a lot of carrying, but I don't know. I feel like just 1 or 2 more things in this movie she could have been involved with would have been nice, but also, like, this movie is a tightly packed fucking movie,
Oh
so
yeah,
I get it, that's, like, difficult to even attempt to break into that.
there is no actual downtime in this movie at all. It is constantly moving. Like, the only
Yeah.
downtime is the very purposeful downtime, like, when the grandmother passes away, and which right. So, I guess it's
Yeah.
fair to point out it's Wabisuke's fault the grandma dies.
I
Kind of. I like,
kind of
tangentially, yeah, 'cause he
I
made the AI, but it is the US government that, like, just releases it into
it's
Oz for fun.
It's also worth pointing out that yes, that system made her die at that moment because they like monitor her at that
Yeah.
time. But as someone with family members who've had very similar conditions before they passed away, and even like the doctor of the family points this out, it's like you're
Yeah.
prolonging this by like days at a certain point.
Mhm.
Like it made it happen right then and there. But realistically speaking, the fact that it got to that point meant there was
Mhm.
not a lot of time left.
Yeah.
He even like points out the shit she was having to like take just to like keep going, and it's like, oh, that is like
Mhm.
you're at your like you're fucking the last laps of your fucking life. So it's like tragic, but ultimately it was like a bit of a like it was going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
He
I
even
think
points out like we might have gone there in time. It might have also just been her time
oh,
at that moment anyway.
mhm. I think the biggest takeaways from, like, that and, the stuff is that, like, the biggest villains of this movie are cops and the US government,
Yeah.
which is hilarious because I'm not even lying. That's just actually true.
That's just yeah, no, that's just like the end of the movie. It's been fucking broadcast where they're just like, yeah, the United States government has a couple things to answer for to everyone fucking else.
They sit there and they're just like, "We didn't think unleashing a AI that was literally programmed with a desire for knowledge would be a problem. We
But
just
unleashing
unleashed
it
it
in the
into the."
most into the most important fucking internet telecommunications platform on the fucking planet.
We're sorry.
We're sorry.
I do
Also,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
also, man, Oz needs a fucking better protective service. A fucking cipher that like a high school kid who's just really good at math can fucking like crack. Come on.
Yeah, that's kind of absurd. Like, the fact that it was behind one layer of encryption apparently is, like, insane. Which, you know what?
Not
Fair enough.
not
Sony
not
stored their
unrealistic
bullshit
actually.
Sony stored their bullshit in fucking plain text. So, you know.
It's not unrealistic as it turns out because I'm now remembering the lack of layers of encryption that are on basically any social media platform. So yeah, fair go,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's like there are so many things that he just predicted. The fact that Hosoda's prediction for all tech CEOs in the future are going to be useless dipshits was just like spot on. Like
Yeah,
incredible that he was just like, yeah, no, they're all dumbasses who are like not going to take the precautions they need.
this movie
Holy,
might have actually, but this movie might actually just be better now than it was when it first came out.
I think so. I honestly think so. Um, Also incredibly funny where it's like people are still using flip phones in the year of our Lord 2019, which I know in Japan they used flip phones for a very long time after like the US and Europe moved on from them, but I don't think they lasted all the way to 2019. I think
Also, things that are apparently still in style in 2019, the Nintendo DSi.
uh that could have been the 3DS.
Nope, there was no control stick on that bitch. It was just a D-pad. That was a DSi.
The DSi had like just come out. He had faith in that thing. That was going to be a juggernaut.
My favorite bit is when people like when like the uncle starts like fighting Love Machine with his fucking DSi, and I'm
Yeah.
like, motherfucker, I can't play Mario 64 on this thing properly. How are you doing this kind of like elaborate fucking like detailed 3D movement on the D-pad? Fuck off.
The entire family is just incredible gamers. It's just
Literally,
it's in their
there's
genes.
literally a point. There's literally a point where like the fucking like free like rescue workers slash firemen are like, yeah, we've been gaming for like 30 fucking
Yeah,
years.
that's right. I think he says otherwise like don't underestimate 30 years of gaming experience. So funny. Oh my god, this movie's so fucking good.
I want to quickly shout out to a bit of like set design that I really like for a very like specific and personal reason.
Mhm.
The fucking room where Kazuma like hangs out to play his fucking to like play fucking like Oz as King Kazuma
Yeah.
while the rest of like the fucking birthday and stuff's going on. That's exactly the kind of room I would just like hide in during family gatherings to go watch like YouTube videos on the fucking family computer.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a very small room. Like, my aunt has a very large house. Like it's a 3-story, and like the upper floor is like it's like 2 bedrooms with like a small like sitting room in the middle, but it has a closet that they used for storage that was like a fairly sized closet, like a fairly sizable closet they would use for storage of like just random stuff, like board games, books, and all that kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
that was my go-to, that large closet. It was slightly
Yeah.
smaller than his room, but I was like, "Oh my god, yeah." It had, like, the slope ceiling, it was smaller, it was compact, it had stuff in it. I was like, "Yeah, no, this is where I would go immediately."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. My grandparents' place had like a very similar room where it's like like it's like filled with like closets with like books in them and stuff or like other random garbage. It was
Mhm.
a very small room. The family computer was a bit shit, which is I think also what Cosimo was working with at the time. But
Probably. I love that, like, when they get the supercomputer, it's not even really to help, like, it's to help Cosmo because, like, he winds up being
yeah,
faster because of the higher processing speed, but the reason they needed that was so they could implement their giant fucking plan to, like, overwrite the entirety of the Oz central area with that, like, fucking castle trap.
yeah, which also be thinking what supercomputer can overload this entire the main hub of that. Hmm.
Military grade, baby.
Also, we're finding out that for very important maintenance with very secure information, they're handing this out to teenagers who are working on this part time during their summer.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, no problem. Easy.
I also I just now remembered a scene that a little line that I really like is Kazuma going. These LCDs have really shit response timing. You got
Yes!
like a nice like big CTR, which is true.
Yes!
LCDs response timing, especially at the time, was fucking dog shit.
Yes, he specifically asked for an HD CRT because he needs the higher or the lower response time. It's so good. It fucking rules. I remember seeing that line and being like, "Oh, that's true."
That's how that works.
It's so good. God, I had a this is totally unrelated, but like well, it's related, but like I love it when like media does this, where like clearly someone who knows what they're talking about is like involved in the project. There was an
Yeah,
episode of Pokemon Horizons recently, where Dot's like the streamer in the chip, and like
yeah.
her whole audio setup blows up. And so she asks Liko to go get her a mic, and she specifies it needs to be a cardioid condenser microphone. Make sure that's what you
Yes.
get. And I was like, yes, yes.
Don't do not get me that fucking USB shit. I don't want 50 layers of background noise.
It's so good. I remember like taking a screenshot and being like, oh, she's right. That's what you would want. It's so good.
Uh I
And
know it's on
she even
Hosta who
says,
writes the script for these.
yeah,
Like, I need to check who it is. You go
she
on your thing
yeah,
while I look for it.
she even specifies a unidirectional cardioid condenser, not like omni or bidirectional. I was like, yes, awesome, let's fucking go. That is exactly the kind of thing she would actually be looking for. It's so good. Fucking love it.
Okay, yeah, okay. So the writer for this movie is called a woman called Satoko Okudera, who doesn't really do a lot of anime outside of like Hosoda stuff. She's just kind of
Wow.
a real ass like movie script writer, kind of like
Oh
screenplay
wow.
writer kind of person.
Huh. I should watch her actual movies.
Um, like that's probably why I haven't like. I'm gonna be frank. I've like I like Hosoda a lot as like a visual director, but a lot of his more recent movies in terms of like their scripts have not really been like hitting
Yeah.
me since Wolf Children.
Mhm. No, yeah, I get that.
Wolf uh well, that explains things. Wolf Children was the last script she wrote for a Hosoda film. She wrote like this Girl Who Left for Time and Wolf Children, and then I guess stopped collaborating with him.
Oh, wow.
Which explains a lot to me, but you know, that's besides the point. So yeah, extremely good scriptwriter. Hosoda clearly, if nothing else, does a lot of research on this kind of like, you know, like on these kinds of topics and has a lot of thoughts about their progression into the future, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 'cause, like, he directed 2 movies about this, like, clearly
Yeah,
this is something he thinks about a lot.
yeah, and I mean basically did a third with Bell,
Oh, really?
which
I haven't seen that
yeah,
one yet.
yeah, it's also about like a big that one. a lot of people really love. I'm a lot more mixed on. I think it's again is a script issue for me where I think it's a very messy film
Oh, okay.
compared to both this and even our war game, I would say. But and like the message about sort of the internet, like internet and like progression of technology, I don't think is as strong in that movie as it is in the other two. But that's again besides the point. Um, but yeah, so I like to give a lot of credit to like the screenwriters and stuff because I feel like a lot of the praise for host of the movies just goes to host of that, and there's not a lot, like
Yeah.
thought behind the other people writing this, like behind these movies. But just for this one in specific, I do kind of think like, okay, yeah, like the sort of prescient thoughts and like knowledge, like active knowledge on technology and stuff like that. I think I'm pretty safe to like attribute the host to that, just because this has been prevalent and actively really like well done and accurate in two movies otherwise written by two different people. So
Hmm.
when he's the common denominator, I do feel like
Pretty safe bet.
pretty safe in like giving that credit to him.
Yeah. Well, we've been going for almost an hour, shockingly.
Jesus.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a small break to talk about the sponsor for this video. So I'll run the ads and then we'll come back and keep discussing. Are you fucking tired of having hair on like your body at all? Well, Manscaped has the product for you. Um uh Manscaped's new product, the hair exterminator for your balls. It works anywhere. They threw balls in the name of the thing because it's funny. Yeah. Fucking buy it, you chump. Please continue to sponsor us. I really need the money. I like things are getting kind of bad right now, and I just don't really. All right, and welcome back, lovely patrons. You just watched the advertisement for Manscaped, the sponsor of today's video. Anyway, Momo, you were kind of quiet for the first half of this. You have any thoughts about Summer Wars?
I don't know what you're talking about,
Oh,
but okay.
Mm,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
So, Summer Wars is my favorite Digimon movie.
This is true.
Yeah.
That's the classic meme, right? You know, you funny
Ab-
jokes.
yeah, yeah, of course. Everyone
We
knows the classic meme.
we definitely did not dispel the illusion 5 minutes into the episode.
Haha. So, it's like I'm very half on that meme,
Yeah.
of like, oh, he just made our war game again, and like, okay, obviously there's a lot of like plot beats and shit that are like very similar to our war game, but like, it like does such a massive disservice to how good that movie is.
Very,
Like
very true.
it's like okay, it's it's like okay, there's the fucking like Love Machine is just Diaboromon, and like the satellite is just the nuke.
Hmm.
But like all like the real meat in that movie is the fucking family drama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the
There's
entire first half of the movie.
there's definitely a couple scenes you can bring parallels up to, like the guy like putting in the math equation at the last minute is a lot like literally like almost shot for shot,
The
like
email
Izzy
bit.
like Koshiro sending all the emails and stuff, like that's definitely a pretty big part of it. um yeah, I don't know, I really get the sense that like there's this kind of theme that I have been thinking about in the 5 minute ad break, and definitely no longer period of time that these two could have taken place between.
Hmm.
Don't worry if I sound any different either. By the way, it's none of your fucking concern. Uh, where there's like this theme of like sort of like the past versus like not like sort of balancing the past and the present in a way. Where it's like trying to not be too beholden to things in the past, because there's like there's like a couple of characters, including like Wabiske, who are like very stuck in like sort of things that happened in the past or like the family lineage or stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it's like there's literally like the letter from the grandmother where she's like,
Give him,
just have a quick
let him
burial.
take what he wants.
Yeah, just have a quick burial. Don't like spend too long fucking mourning me. Like, like like it is like it is like not like so much a condemnation of the past as it's like there's lessons you take from that shit, but like also you have to move on and look ahead. Um, which kind of works hand in hand with like the movie's whole philosophy on like the future and like the consolidation of technology and advancement of technology, where it's like both exciting and like scary, and there are like threats that need to be kept in mind. So there's
I
a lot of like really interesting balancing with both looking ahead and looking back and like seeing both the good and the bad sides of both things. And I kind of wonder if like because there's like interviews with Hosoda where he very much views his like work with Toei in like a different light to like his work after he left and started just making like his own original property movies.
Mhm.
And I kind of wonder if this movie taking so many things from our war game is like him kind of doing that thing that the movie is talking about, where it's like he's like, he's taking things from his like he's not ignoring his past, he's not just looking ahead at his future. He's like looking back at things and like, taking important lessons and like things he can work with from that and using them to advance his career, basically. I don't
it,
know.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's also like something because basically some of that shit is also just stuff you clearly wanted to show off in our war game, but our war game's 30 minutes.
Our War Game's like a 45-minute movie that is in fact beholden to both a property and a particular story that he had only had a couple of previous involvements with.
Yeah.
The one I think the one okay, as funny as that bit is, the bit that also just immediately jumps out is the part that when it's cutting to like random stuff getting messed up because Diaboromon's messing around the internet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just the lady just mindlessly saying, "Yeah, that'll be like 10 billion yen." Wow, that's expensive. Paper or plastic.
Those scenes, like, I mean, like, like our War Game's still pretty like, hey, this is actually kind of fucked up, but I think a War Game plays a lot more for laughs than Summer Wars does. Summer Wars does maybe like deal with the more dire consequences of such events than our
What
War Game
if
does.
what if you hacked Biden's Twitter account, you got the launch codes? That
I
is
really
basically what happens.
I really like that they're like, yeah, you could possibly hack a president's Oz account and get the nuclear launch codes, which would probably, for some people, raise the question: why the fuck would they keep the launch codes in like a public like social media platform? But honestly, world leaders are fucking stupid like that. Yeah, that can happen. I believe
Also,
it.
I
yeah,
always took
like
it as Oz is like just such like that thing is like integrated into like everything
yeah,
digitally.
it's there's a popular I believe it's called social engineering. It's a very popular trick where you literally just say you are someone and have any small amount of proof and people will just fucking believe you and give you whatever you want. So like I could see this fucking
Some
happening.
something as major as like what an Oz account would represent in that like world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking believable.
It's like, yeah, no, like this is obviously me. See, here's my Oz account. And I'm just like, well, you must be that. Here's the nuclear launch code, sir.
I have
God
no reason.
bless America.
God bless the United States of America.
Said in this movie, it's dropping a satellite on a dog.
Why the dog specifically?
That dog knew they had it out for him.
It is so funny that when they're just like, "Oh God, he's retargeted a satellite," it just zooms in on the dog before very quickly.
I like you remember like you remember one of the family members, I think it's like one of the firefighters. He had like a dog shaped robot that was a firefighter.
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot all
I
about
like to
that.
think he really liked that dog. I don't know if you went into that, but I that's like a probably my like I that's probably my favorite part of the movie is just everyone's avatar
Yeah, I think
Like you just have a group shot. Like you spend enough time with the family that like near the end when you see that group, like just everyone's avatars, you know immediately which ones is which based on the shit you've learned about them.
yeah. I think we might have mentioned that, but yeah, no, it's like the shitty cop cousin has like that stupid ass monkey avatar or
Like a little
something. It's like,
it's like a
yeah,
little like ferret with the Kamina glasses and a cop hat.
yeah, and it's like, yeah, of course that's what your fucking avatar is, you stupid
Or like
asshole. Fuck you.
or like the I forget the really condescending lady who I think like she like her bit was like she married into the family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
despite
yeah,
that,
like
she's
yeah, she married into the family, but she's also treating Kenshi like an outsider.
yep.
But like or like her like the way she acts is like, oh, of course her avatar is like the like the like mouse girl or whatever in the tube dress with the lipstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just very glammed up, clearly enjoying her new lifestyle. Or the oh god. The uncle whose name, like, I don't know why I forget his name.
Master,
Yes, Master. Him having
who's
like
a
the
ninja squid.
yeah, the ninja squid. It's really, really good. It's so the visual design aspects of this movie are like fucking phenomenal. Everything works. It's perfect.
I think all the major ones are like on like this version of the poster.
Yeah.
Like
I
Oh,
the guy
yes.
like the guy in the cowboy hat's the computer dude.
Hmm.
what I really like about it is just that like both visual aesthetics of the movie, despite being so vastly different, end up actively
And
complementing each other in a way where there's so many things about this movie that should effectively make it feel like two separate movies entirely, and they end up in really unconventional ways, like feeding into each other like super perfectly.
Hmm.
you know you know what I think helps like just I don't know if it probably would still work if he wasn't in the movie, but probably Kazuma probably. Because like you look like it's like that's not even like a secret for long. Like basically as soon as fucking it's like not long after fucking Kenji meets him, he finds out Kazuma's King Kazuma.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, literally, like the second Kazuma design, King Kazuma design, just has Kazuma's hair. That's his fucking big upgrade. It's really funny.
He gets all the bandages too, which is cool as shit.
And that's like a third one. He goes through like three.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure
think
he
at the
only
very
gets
end he has like a big
advantages.
scar on his face.
Mm.
I think he only gets advantages after Love Machine already is beating the fucking piss out of him.
Yeah,
But
probably. And that's after he gets beaten the shit out of, and before Love Machine absorbs him, thus gaining the bunny ears, which is the funniest part of that. Because when the
oh,
fucking
so menacing. Ooh.
when Love Machine has amassed the 400 million accounts or whatever it is, it's like just this giant shadow mass that's a bunch of like squirming like avatars, and then he absorbs King Cosma and grows bunny ears.
Still got that smile though.
Of course, very important. Oh god.
Uh,
Oh yeah, so something I forgot to mention before the ad break was Momo. Me and you discussed this during our actual like watching of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Even like the like obviously because that the fucking the cousin playing baseball, he's
Johan.
never actually there until the end of the movie.
Yeah,
But like every time like something like a major moment in the story happens, they'll usually cut back to the TV, and it's like oh the here comes the like it's like oh here comes the satellite's about to drop, and then it cuts to the TV. And it's like oh not things not looking good for the team. They're
yeah.
cracking under the pressure.
Hmm. And it's like the finals that they're at, which I think is like the fucking like it's I think it's like the national. Are they at nationals or are they at like the
I think so.
prefecture? Yeah, but like they're in the finals for it, and like because like the finale like keeps going, like they win, and then something else happens, and it's like they didn't actually win yet. The baseball game goes in at like the 15th
Oh no,
inning,
it's
I
like
think.
it's oh no, it's multiple games.
Well, no, the final game when they're at the
Oh
finals
yeah.
during the finale of the movie. The final game winds up going into the 15th inning because of how many times during like the final conflict they seemingly win, and then something happens and they have no longer won. Like she's winning at Hanafuda to the point where she has like 100,000 accounts, and then she makes a mistake and it drops back down to 70 something. And that's when, they come back to the baseball game and the score, it's like bottom of the ninth, and the score is like the opposing team's like 1 run ahead. And then they get all
I
the
f-
accounts, and it winds up like it keeps going back and forth to where like by the end of it, they're all like almost about to collapse, and they've gone 6 extra innings in the baseball game.
I forgot. I also forgot that they felt the need to justify why they gave her like a power up.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a lucky item from the whales.
You know what the baseball game shit actually reminds me of from
What?
our war game? Of all things, it's Joe's fucking exam. Like
Oh yeah, it's the same
ending
thing.
yeah, ending right as the fucking nuke is about to hit Taichi and Koshiro.
5 seconds. God.
That's what I like. I was like, that's a bit more. It's like that and fucking Taichi's fucking mom's
Yeah. The cake
cake.
she's baking, yeah.
The cake that fucks up.
Yeah, this movie is basically just like it takes a bunch of stuff from our war game that was very much if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and just like really builds upon it and fleshes it out more. Just like the ideas of, oh, there's a bunch of parallel things happening during this time limit countdown where,
Yeah.
so God, I didn't check while we were watching this because, me and Mom were watching it together and I didn't want to constantly pause and go back. But I'm very curious if they did the same thing in Summer Wars they did in our war game, where once the countdown hits a certain point, there was exactly that much amount of time in the finale before it stops. Because I think it was the 5 minute mark in our war game where exactly 5 minutes after it shows the timer is when they kill Diaboromon, like to the second.
Shit. Hang on. I can actually. I think I can check that. While you guys talk about someone else. Do you want to maybe talk about?
Let's see what other fantastic things are in this movie. I think we didn't
You
even
know,
go ahead.
what's like a moment I think is really really fucking good.
Hmm.
I don't know, like maybe I misread what the grandma says, but
Mhm.
like when it's like the flashback with her and Mobius, I took that as like he's adopted.
So
Oh, okay.
so what happens is that she is the illegitimate like
Oh wait, that's it. Yeah,
yeah, he's the illegitimate like child of the great grandfather messing around with someone I assume way younger, because that's
Mhm.
just
that
Yeah.
was it.
that's just how
Yeah,
Josuke, fucking Josuke, like but then she decided, despite that she
well, it's
would
like
still like
you're
properly
yeah.
adopt him into the family.
Mhm. Yeah, classic born of a mistress
It,
style thing.
it's like there's like obviously you kind of get the implication of that like with how nice she is to Kenji immediately, but it's like this isn't like a this isn't like a fucking no, what's not exclusive's not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
This isn't like a fucking boarded up family that's impossible to get into. Just be a good person.
Yeah. At least the grandmother is very accepting of people from the outside. And most of the family seems to be as well
And it's like
until
it's like a lot of them are dickheads, but at the end of the day,
Mhm.
they all step up, they help out.
With the exception of Shota, fuck him. He doesn't help once this entire goddamn movie. Except for at the very
He's
end.
he stole my fucking ice.
As
Again, I
stated,
find I find it so funny. That's the blue screen moment.
yes.
It's
Uh,
like you're overheating or what?
How? Opening the door.
I feel bad for the computer guy. He probably got like some nasty burn when he opened that door.
Yeah, he did get hit by that fucking backdraft.
Although, in retrospect, someone should have probably been watching that fucking computer just in case.
Maybe.
There's sure a massive supercomputer you just left in the room without telling anyone else about that. Like, someone might have gone and
What?
messed with that. There's like
Why?
5 fucking little shit children around. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, Shota was watching it. He just stole the ice because,
To be fair, it was pretty intense.
see, I don't think they were thinking about. I don't think they were assuming anyone would be stupid enough to steal all the ice from the fucking room. But
I
alas,
I assume they also closed the doors because like it was a hot summer day. Keep the fucking sun off that thing.
Mhm. As stated previously.
Okay. I checked, by the way. The counter doesn't really follow like
Damn,
that kind
okay.
of timer.
I kind of assume that'd be the case because like obviously like our
They're
war
working
game
for
can
much
much
wider range of time in that one
yeah
than the
more war game
War
is like a
Game
much
one.
shorter movie.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's also like 20 minutes in Summer Wars.
yeah.
Yeah.
So at most, like I think, like maybe the last 2 minutes, it's pretty spot on.
Mhm.
Yeah, the last like 2 minutes are pretty much like it gets like 2 minutes on the counter, and it's pretty much like 2 minutes before they like stop it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So I always love it when they attempt to do things like that. It's fun.
I will say, I think I kind of mentioned this before, but I do think actually watching these movies as close to each other as we did actually made me appreciate our war game a lot more than I used to.
Mhm.
Because before I was like, yeah, that's the cool thing, but it's also just kind of, it's just you can also just watch Summer Wars. And it's like, no, I think now
It's a
looking
lot.
back, I think our war game has a lot more of its own merit than I would give it credit for, besides just being prototype Summer Wars. And also in a weird, even though I think this movie shoots for a lot more, I think our war game is actually the more tightly written and paced movie.
Yeah. Like, I feel like that's just a consequence of it being so much shorter that, like, they almost
Yeah.
had to more tightly pace it. But I do feel like because like, Summer Wars is definitely, like, more loosely paced, but I feel like that's to the movie's benefit in a lot of ways as
Oh
well.
yeah.
Yeah. I was
Just
like, yeah.
another way that like those movies do actually distinguish from each other in a way that benefits both of them.
Mhm. But yeah, because like, we've barely talked about the first half of this movie. Like, how
Yeah.
Kenji even winds up, because like, he's just doing, like, small maintenance work with his friend on Oz. Um,
Yeah, like the setup is like a minute long. It's really
yeah.
funny.
He's doing maintenance work. Natsuki, who they both barely know, like, enters the room and she's just like, "Hey, I need one of you to do me a favor. Come with me to my family home."
You know that also, like, she picked these two because, like, these are the fucking dipshit nerds. I can fucking ring both of them around my finger if I want to. I can get them for this, like, so fucking easy. Whatever.
100%, yeah. Or rather, she says, "Do you want some part-time work?" And they're both like, they're like, we're doing
We,
part-time work right
we're
now. We
doing it
don't
right
need."
now.
And then as she's leaving, she's like, "Man, I was gonna invite you to my home for the summer." And they immediately play rock, paper, scissors. Well, they immediately start arguing over who's going, and it turns out they played rock, paper, scissors to see who won, and it was Kenji. Because they
I
get to go to a
also
girl's house.
I also really like how as they're like taking the trip to the house, Kenji meets more and more of the family members, like, incidentally, as they're all obviously traveling to the same place, and that's how they kind of give you the exposition on, like, the family's, like, history and structure and such.
Mhm.
I don't know. I really like that way of, like, delivering that information to the viewer. I thought
Yeah.
it was like, really well done. It's also very, like, brief. It's not a huge, like, sit down or anything. It's less than 2 minutes, and it's just, yeah, okay, you know the gist of it.
Yeah. That's also the sequence we learn that Kenji was almost a, Olympic math participant, whatever the fuck it was called, like, a
Yeah,
mathlete.
Math Olympic.
Yeah.
So he's really good at math.
It's like I almost won it.
I
Almost.
Yeah, but
almost won it, though. It was almost me, though.
no, he says that no, like because people go, "Wow, that's crazy." And he goes, "Yeah, I didn't win though."
Yeah.
I didn't get in.
Yeah, I think there's multiple points where, like, Natsuki's like, that's a math Olympic competitor for you," and it's like, "Almost."
Almost.
Almost. And it's so funny that, like, that is really his only character trait for the first half of this movie. He is just he's a guy, he's good at
He-
math.
he's a bit nerdy, kind of
Yeah.
very anxious.
Yeah, just, he's a typical nerd. Like, literally the baseline for he is a nerd. He's awkward, he's anxious, he's good at math. Those are the three things about Kenji that are important. We'll flesh out the rest of his bullshit in the second half of the movie, and they don't even really do that for the most part. and it still works because the movie's not about
Again,
Kenji.
yeah, that is actually something I have seen multiple times brought up throughout, like as a criticism towards Summer Wars, because it's like where it's like no character individually is that like particularly deep, I
and it,
guess, if you know
and
what I
it's
mean.
and
Like
it's like
no,
that's not really the point of the movie, though. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
yeah, it's more about like fitting within the like it's like you're not really supposed to take like one individual character as like the fucking protagonist of the story or something. It's more just about like fitting into like a cohesive whole.
Yeah, finding your place.
Like it is literally about the family as a whole.
Yeah.
Which is probably why, like, to me, the romance is like the one bit about this movie that I thought was particularly weak, because that is meant to be about two individuals, which the rest of the movie isn't really about. So I feel like that's the only bit where I'm like, that doesn't really fit in with what the rest of the movie's trying to do, and it ends up kind of weak as a result. But like, just like,
That's the only thing. Like, well, for it's fine for what it is, and it does its job.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's not a huge criticism. Just one of those where it's like, yeah, that's like because of the like basic philosophy of the movie. That's like the one thing where I'm like, don't really think that worked the way they wanted it to.
I
But
actually, I do like it for at least from the angle of like, because basically Kenji's in there to basically play a lie, but then he basically becomes like as cool as Natsuki describes him as.
Yeah.
yeah, let me think. Although I will say, like, yeah, no individual character necessarily is is the deepest thing, because again, that isn't the point. But also, like, the grandma is the best character in the movie, and that, like,
The,
that's
Yeah.
not
the
even a contest.
let's yeah, I mean, it's kind of how do you compete with her?
Yeah, like, damn. She fucking, when, like, the bits of the movie she's in, she fucking steals the show each time.
Yeah. Like I I mentioned before, my favorite scene of this movie is absolutely her going into that room with all of the fucking address books and calling every single acquaintance she has to make them start doing their
What
fucking jobs.
the bit that always gets me is like, maybe that fucking useless son's degree of yours will be useful now.
Yeah. So funny. She rules.
When when your friend's son is a liberal arts degree.
Hey, I have a liberal arts degree. Fucking,
Yeah?
and it's exactly as useless as you think it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine. It's only an associates. I need to go back.
Um, I also like the grandma scene is probably like just the best scene. The thing that the one bit in this movie that like guaranteed makes me fucking bawl like a little fucking child whenever it happens is like during the big Hanafuda game at the end, when fucking they've got like, what was it, 74 accounts left.
With the little guy popping up, just please take back.
The little guy who was like turns out to be like a little kid from Germany or something, who's like, please take my account.
Little German boy.
He's like, please take my account. Just like that fucking bit always fucking gets to me, dude.
It's really good.
It's that bit again where Hosta's like, he's very cautious and very like, hey, there's a lot of concerns about this type of technology that he like, he thinks about a lot, but then also like that moment,
It brings people together.
it brings like it brings people together that would like, if it wasn't for Oz, there's no way that little fucking German boy would have reached out to an otherwise completely Japanese family like that.
Yeah.
There's no way he would have been able to deliver that kind of gesture to them.
Mhm.
I love how this movie like strikes these types of balances. It's so good.
It is just wonderful, the kind of message it conveys about, being cautious about being so heavily reliant on technology for everything, but also it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Check out this Nintendo DSi.
Everyone's got their DSIs hooked up to the internet.
Listen, I understand that the DS browser was a pretty like insane piece of software for the time. Don't think it don't think it can do that though. I don't know.
I wanna know how excited Hosoda was for the 3DS.
Oh, for some reason that just reminded because everyone's still using flip phones because 2009.
Except what Visuke, who has a really plainly like first or second gen fucking iPhone in 2019, but whatever.
Yeah. There was one character who had not the sidekick, but it was like a similar thing where it's like it was the phone that slid up, like you slid the screen upward to reveal the keypad, but then you could also flip the screen sideways while it was up, so it was like a T shape. I saw them
Ye
using that in their card. I was like, I had one of those.
Do you know
I'm also now wondering, does Wabisuke have an iPhone and not a flip phone because he spent most of his time in America,
Oh my
where
fucking
these things were
Probably.
god!
decisively less popular?
yeah, probably.
That's probably what it is.
Also, like, I know, like, specific I think, like, not, like, a moment that, like, breaks me, but, like, I guess, like, a really, like, one of the first moments of the movie I always think of is, like, when Natsuki calls Wabisuke after grandma dies.
Yes.
And, like, he's still trying to do his, like, "Ugh, don't fucking talk to me shit."
Mhm.
And he just finally just screams at me, she's dead. And he, like, it just cuts to him in his fucking car.
They do that. They do a very classic trick where they like don't show his eyes when he's like being like that, and then the moment like she tells him that, they show his eyes as he's just looking in shock.
Oh, it's so good. God, this movie is so good.
Because it's like, okay, it's like, because it's like, her dying is basically his fault. And
A little bit, yeah. Like, it's mostly the US government's fault, and she was probably on her way out anyway, but yeah.
indirectly responsible.
Again, even the doctor kind of brings up that it's like that might have just been her like my perspective on that is, again,
Yeah. I'm
when
not
you're
saying, like,
on
oh,
that when
fuck him
you're
entirely for that, but you know what I mean.
when you're on that level, you are on extreme levels of borrowed time.
Yeah, it was definitely
Like
a case of, like,
that was like that might have been an extension by a couple of weeks at most.
Mhm. I mean, and of course, like, Whoopi feels responsible because it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you made the AI
Yeah.
that definitely led to her dying at this moment,
I
so
I just mean that's part of probably why he's, like, just sitting there like, "Oh god."
Oh
Like,
fuck.
because he has to have probably known she was, like, being monitored super heavily.
and likely the reason, she was, like, because they mentioned specifically, like, it was a heart monitor that shows, like, when her heart's going a little out of whack. Uh, Something tells me the events of the prior evening where she got really worked up trying to kill him due to him being an asshole
Yeah,
probably
that
didn't
probably
help that fact.
did
Yeah,
not,
and, like, and then
cause
Kenji
she
just finds her, like, I get, like, collapsed.
Mhm.
yeah, no, she's like literally before the Hanafuda game he plays with her, like she's like she's like, yeah, my legs aren't like working right now.
Mhm. So yeah, he probably feels a little responsible for that.
Maybe just a bit. Uh-huh.
Wabiske is probably in, like, his mid-20s, maybe late 20s.
Yeah.
Do you think Wabiske saw our war game and thought Diaboromon was the coolest shit in the world? That's why he made Love Machine.
Actually, I'm now thinking, does the movie take place in 2019? Because
Yeah,
like
it does.
no, because Natsuki mentions being born in 1992.
92? I thought she mentioned no, she mentions her grandmother was born in 1920 and she's turning 99. So, yeah, it
No,
took place in
I
2019.
no, because there no, because there's the bit where she's like asking him how she's asking Kenji how good Kenji is at math.
Mhm.
And he asked her like what date she was born in. She says like a certain date in 92, and then he uses like an arithmetic to deduce that she was born on Sunday. That she's
But
a high schooler, so I don't think so. No.
but they specifically said she's turning 99 and was born in 1920, which would make this movie take place in 1999 or
She's
2019.
turning she's born in she's turning 90.
Oh, she's turning 90? I thought she said she was turning 99. I apparently misread a line. Whoops.
Okay, now a lot of techniques make a lot more sense.
Yeah, the DSi
So
being the console that was literally out.
because you were saying that, and I was like, I kind of just believed you based on like the fact that like Oz was so advanced, but like I was just sitting there like something about this doesn't add up, and then I just remembered like, wait, hang on, okay, well we figured that one out.
Ignore
Yay.
every previous comment we've ever made about the movie
If
taking
you
place
make
10 years after it.
if you make a comment about this, we know you didn't finish the fucking episode.
Yeah. Nobody would. They have to pay to see this. Well, they don't have to pay to see this one, but they're gonna have to pay to see next ones. So, like,
Yeah,
again, I'll get this is Patreon exclusive content, by the way.
definitely.
Yeah, the Patreon we have. It'll be linked in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah. Momo, is there anything else in particular you want to talk about, or any closing thoughts?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. And Bridget, do you have any final thoughts, closing comments?
Uh, I mean, like, fuck, dude. Like, I feel like I've said a whole lot during this particular one, more than even usual, probably. Yeah, I mean, I started this out. This is my favorite movie of all time. Even just like rewatching it and talking about it here, I'm like finding new things about it that I really appreciate. Um, it is such a like because it presents itself as such a kind of like a straightforward like family film, and it is definitely a family film still. But there are so many cool little layers and like little character things to poke at and like think about. Ah, like I'll be rewatching this in fucking 6 months and still cry like 3 times. It is a fucking immaculate movie. I love it to absolute pieces.
Well, in that case, I guess we'll go ahead and end it here.
And don't you have any final closing statements, Vlad? Or
No.
I guess all I got is like I said earlier. I guess just to I don't know what I said earlier. If you've never seen this movie before, and all I don't know why you're listening to a fucking basically discussion about it if you haven't seen it. But
yeah,
if you
if you risk to this without having seen the movie,
why?
why?
But like if again if all you really know about this is haha Hosoda made our war game again, please do go watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, go watch it. It's a wonderful movie in every way. And it's very reductive when people say haha or war game. Like I get it. The similarities and everything. Core principles are the same, but also, you know, have serious discussions about it instead. But yeah, all right. We'll see you guys on the next paid content that you have to pay for.
Give me money.
Yay, money.
Where's my fucking salary?